What if I told you there's a force out there so powerful it can turn a tiny bit of money into an absolute fortune, with almost no effort on your part? No, it's not magic. It's a principle so profound that it was supposedly called the eighth wonder of the world. Let's get into it.
You know, when a mind like Albert Einstein's calls something the eighth wonder of the world, you gotta pay attention. He didn't see this as just some financial trick. To him, it was a fundamental force of the universe, as real and as constant as gravity. Today, we're gonna unpack exactly what he meant by that. Just take a second and look at that number, over $76,000. Now, what if I told you that entire amount grew from a single, one-time investment of just $1,000? That's it. No more money added. Just 40 years of letting it sit. This is the unbelievable result of the force we're about to break down.
To really wrap our heads around this, we need to understand that there are two totally different paths your money can take. Most of us get the first one, but stick with me because the second one can completely change your financial life.
Okay, the whole secret here comes down to one tiny little word, and. With simple interest, your earnings are totally predictable, right? They're always based on that first amount you put in. But with compound interest, your money starts making its own money. That "and" is the secret ingredient. It's where the real magic starts to happen.
So let's start with the basics. Simple interest. You invest $10,000 at 5%. Every year, like clockwork, you earn $500. It's always 5% of that original 10 grand. So after 30 years, you've got 25,000. I mean, yeah, it's growth, but it's a slow, straight line. Pretty uninspiring if we're being honest.
All right, now get ready. Let's take the exact same $10,000 and the same 5% interest rate, but this time we unleash the power of compounding. That first year, yeah, you still make $500. But the next year, you're earning 5% on $10,500. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It just keeps picking up more snow, getting bigger and faster every single year. After 30 years, your balance is over $43,000. That is the awesome exponential power we're talking about.
So here's the bottom line. Over a long period, your money starts doing the heavy lifting for you, so you don't have to work as hard for it. If you can stick with it for 40 years, that initial investment multiplies itself more than 7 times over, all while you're just out there living your life. It's the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it plan.
And this brings us to the single most important ingredient in this whole recipe for building wealth. And it's not about how much money you have or how smart you are with stocks. It's about how much time you have on your side. Let's see this in action.
Let's imagine you find an extra $1,000. Maybe it's a tax refund, a bonus from work, whatever. It's not a monthly thing, just a one-time deal. You pop it into a simple index fund that, historically, gets about a 7% return each year. Now let's see what happens depending on when you decide to do it.
Okay, so we're going to follow 3 identical investors. Each one of them puts in the exact same $1,000. The only difference between them is their starting age. One starts at 20, one at 25, and one at 30. Then we're going to fast forward and see what they've got when they all hit age 60.
All right, first up is our 20-year-old investor. By starting at 20, that $1,000 investment has a full 40 years to just cook, to grow. And by the time you're 60, it has blossomed into more than $76,000. That is the incredible power of giving your money the longest runway possible.
Now, what if you wait just 5 years? Starting at 25, you still end up with almost $39,000. And hey, that's a fantastic return. But waiting just 5 years has literally cut your potential future wealth by almost half. Let that sink in. That's the staggering price of waiting.
And if you start at 30, you end up with just over $20,000. The lesson here is so clear. The cost of waiting is absolutely enormous. Every single year you put it off is a year of that powerful compounding curve you can never get back. Time is your single greatest asset. You can't afford to waste it.
So, we've seen the incredible, amazing, wealth-building side of compound interest. But here's the thing about a force this powerful. It's a double-edged sword. This mathematical principle is completely neutral. It doesn't care if it's working for you or if it's working against you.
So that brings us to the really critical question. What happens when this amazing engine of growth gets flipped into reverse? What happens when it's applied to something like, say, high-interest credit card debt?
I mean, just look at this. It's brutal. $1,000 invested at 7% grows to a really nice sum over 30 years. But $1,000 of debt on a credit card charging 24%?
That debt compounds into a jaw-dropping, life-crushing $237,000. It's the exact same math, just with a totally devastating outcome.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? The math is exactly the same. But being on the right side of that equation leads to financial freedom and options. Being on the wrong side, that leads to a lifetime of financial struggle. The most important thing is to choose which side of that equation you want to be on.
Okay, now that we understand just how high the stakes are, let's talk about how you can take control. There's a wonderfully simple little trick that lets you quickly estimate the power of compounding without needing a spreadsheet or a fancy calculator. Think of it as your own financial superpower.
It's called the Rule of 72. It's this fantastic bit of mental math, a quick and dirty shortcut that gives you a surprisingly accurate estimate of how long it'll take for your money to double at any given interest rate. And using it could not be easier. Seriously, you just take the number 72 and you divide it by whatever your annual interest rate is. So if your investment is making 8% a year, you divide 72 by 8 and you get 9. That means your money is going to double roughly every 9 years. It's that simple.
This slide really brings it home. At a 6% return, your money doubles every 12 years. But look what happens if you can get a 10% return. It's doubling in just over 7 years. This just goes to show how even a small bump in your rate of return can dramatically speed up your journey to building wealth.
So we end with this question. The force of compound interest is always working, 24/7, whether you're paying attention to it or not. You now understand how it works. The only choice you have left is this. Are you going to harness this incredible power to build the future you want? Or are you going to let it be used against you, compounding debts instead of wealth? The choice and the power is all yours.